Hi everyone, my name is Brandon Bell, and I will be doing my Module 1 video discussion connecting Part 2 of our Critical Issues text to my assigned role as Financial Aid Director for the course. Some of my points, many of my points actually, will come from Chapter 5, and it's talking about the student as a consumer and what that looks like for student affairs offices. Now, halfway through the first part of Chapter 5, the book does say that certain functional areas like housing and residence life, building operations, financial aid need to work more like a business because there's competition, cost effectiveness, etc. One of the things, though, that I think the book does not say about financial aid is that we are not, or financial aid is not a for-profit entity, as in like we're allotted a certain amount of money from the government, and then based on a series of formulas and federal laws and mandates, we decide what students get what kind of aids, how much they're eligible for, and we set a budget. It is not like we have a pot of money that we somehow negotiate out to students based mainly on what the student can exchange. It's more like based on your performance or academic performance, these laws and the amount of money we have for this particular thing, whether it be work study, Pell Grants, federal aid, we then are able to give you a set amount of money. There was a certain part, though, that I like in particular when you talk about the customer service model that the book talks about. Well, you do want your students to come back, and in financial aid, I think if they're not treated fairly, if they're not feel like they're being respected, if they don't feel like their problems are being heard, if they're not being walked through the financial aid process, particularly FAFSA, what that looks like, scholarship application process, students will not come back, and we are failing the student not because they didn't get what they want, because we did not explain and teach them what they want. So Chapter 5 also talks about, making sure that your area has a learning component to it. And I think for financial aid, that's a really good place to teach students a lot about finance, 1, managing and mitigating processes, 2, and then kind of budgeting and creating a plan. And I think those are things, life skills, that are embedded in many of the other functional areas of student affairs that financial aid could really speak to, given the nature of the office. So those are kind of some of my top points for Chapter 5 real quick. We're going to hop over to Chapter 10, I believe it is. And we're talking about helicopter parents and engaging parents. And I know in financial aid, that's something that happens a lot, given that sometimes students will need a cosigner for a loan. FAFSA for many students is based off of their family's income. So parents naturally would want to be really involved in the financial aid process, especially for first, second, and third year students who are still largely dependent on, based on age and other factors, on their parents' income. So it talks about the helicopter parent and the parent who hovers over their child, wanting to support them and shelter them from stress, resolve their problems, and offer unwavering, on-the-spot support and affirmation. Which is not technically a bad thing when I think about financial aid, because a lot of the things the student might not have any experience with when it comes to issues of credit, repayment plans. These are things that the student, most of the time, based on their life experiences, has not had a chance to work with. So I understand why parents are there. But there's a way that I think in financial aid we can definitely bridge those gaps and let the student spearhead the process, and the parent and I will work as the support system for the student. So in financial aid, I don't think it's always beneficial for the parent to fill out the FAFSA. I think a good way to teach the student how to be responsible to follow a process and follow directions, the student should be able to fill out the application, and the parent should give the information needed. Also, when it comes to managing their student budgets, like how much they'll take out in loan as opposed to how much they will take out in federal work study, if applicable, are things that the student should decide and not the parent, because you're teaching the student those critical thinking skills, those planning skills that will come in handy not only in life when you're talking about like credit and mortgaging homes, but even when they're in school, they're making a plan, managing time, managing funds, managing resources. All are good skills that they get in the financial aid process, accepting awards, declining rewards, choosing classes, picking a schedule, choosing meal plans. That financial aid can help the student learn just in doing FAFSA and deciding how much money they want to take out. So those are my points for the critical issues text in our class. I hope you guys find them relevant. I look forward to hearing your feedback on what I said. And as always, any feedback, any insight is always appreciated. All right, guys. Looking forward to seeing you all Monday night. Have a good one.